every day the news is getting, I want to say almost sick in a way now. The police officers involved in the shooting of Jacob Blake, it came out about an hour ago. They are not going to face any criminal charges out in Kenosha County, Wisconsin. If you remember Blake, who is black, he was shot 7 times at close range on August 23rd as he walking away, shot in the back by Kenosha police officer Rusten Sheskey, who was answering a domestic violence call. Now, Graveley, Michael Graveley, he's the district attorney in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He said he shared his findings with Blake before speaking to reporters late Tuesday afternoon. Now, even before announcing his findings, Graveley pleaded for peace, asking, can moments of tragedy like this be an opportunity to build things? I don't know how you build things. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Graveley. I don't know how you build things by letting 7 cops off the hook without any criminal liability for shooting somebody 7 times in the back. Shooting somebody 1 time in the back. 7 times? It wasn't enough? That to stop him with 1 bullet, 7 bullets?
Right.
And it was all in the back?
And walking away from them, right? Because a lot of times it's like, oh, they were walking towards us and we didn't feel safe.
Right.
I don't understand bullets 2 through 7.
Right.
Right.
I don't understand bullet number 1, but I certainly don't understand bullets 2 through 7.
Yeah, I was about to say, even bullet number 1. You're walking.
I said I don't understand bullet number 1. But if there's an argument for bullet number 1, I don't know what the argument is for bullet 2 through 7. Because if you shoot somebody in the back with a bullet, I don't think your life's going to be much in danger. What's the guy going to do to you? He's shot in the back with a bullet.
So would there have been justice if the case was even more unfortunate and this gentleman would have passed? Like, is that what the law, like, is that what we need to have?
No, it shouldn't have happened. No, because murder, attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, they're all serious offenses. This guy, Blake, is paralyzed from the waist down. Paralyzed.
It's a family.
And now Kenosha police officers, they're not equipped with body cameras. If you remember, a bystander captured the confrontation that appeared to show that Blake was walking away. He was about to get into the driver's side of his SUV when Sheskey opened fire. Now, Sheskey and fellow officer Vincent Arenas both used tasers on Blake but couldn't stop him. That's the claim. I don't know. I wasn't there. But they claim that the taser didn't stop him. Blake, if there is a defense, Sheskey, he says that the tasers didn't work and couldn't stop him. Mm-hmm. Now, if there's a defense, I guess there's a defense because the officers were found not even probable cause to bring charges. There was a knife in the car. Mm-hmm. How did the cops see a knife in the car?
Right.
Okay, there's a knife in the car. It's on the floor. How the hell do they see a knife in the car? Guys opening the door. They're 10, 20, 30 feet away, whatever it is. The hell they know what he's going for. Now, Ryan White, the bystander who shot the video, he said he did hear the police yelling, drop the knife, but he never actually saw Blake have a knife in his hands. And if you remember, the ensuing protests in Kenosha also led to the slaying of 2 other guys. Kyle Rittenhouse, he was the white teenager from Antioch, Illinois, and he gunned down protester Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber during protests on August 25th. Mm-hmm. And he also shot and critically wounded another man. Now he's being charged with homicide.
Good.
Oh,
just very sad all around. It's very sad that a 17-year-old boy would come out with a gun and do that. I don't know where the parents are of this child.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I know children are difficult sometimes. They come out and want to cook when they shouldn't be.
Right.
But there's a big difference between having a pot and a gun.
Yeah. I definitely think the police should have gotten something as well because they knew about him having the guns as well. And they obviously had to allow it. It's actually crazy, though, because In the area from where he's from, I when I was going to St. Thomas, I was actually talking to this guy who was sitting next to me, and he's from a small town in Illinois. I was talking to another older lady that was from Texas, and we were talking about how we didn't like guns, and he was like, "Oh, I've had AK-47 and all this and rifles and all of this since I was like 12 or 11." And I'm like, "Really?
It's culture. It's culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that is the culture, then the parents still have to teach you, what
gun safety.
Like exactly. Yeah. Like he said, like even though it's part of his culture and he uses it for hunting and like even shooting like little things in the forest or whatever, he knows not to go out and just shoot random people, even if he's mad, So,
Now, from the Blake perspective, I don't know enough about the case because I haven't studied I have to be honest with you, I haven't studied all of the facts, and there's lots of people who know more about the intricate facts of what happened because I follow in the news and I read the news articles, but I haven't really dug deep into what the facts were that got these officers off. They just got announced it about an hour ago, legally. Right. But my spidey sense says and I'm usually right on my spidey sense. There's something rotten when somebody gets shot in the back, and maybe there's a defense for the first bullet, but I don't know what the defense is for bullets number 2 through 7. What justifies the second shot and the third shot and the fourth? Because how in danger were these cops from a man whose back was against them?
Right.
That part I just can't get with.
I don't get it.
And they said like when they got there, he was putting his child into the vehicle and said, "I'm taking my child in the car."
I don't get it. 2 crucial Georgia runoff elections are happening today, and they're going to determine which party controls the Senate. Jon Ossoff is he's the Democrat running against Republican Senator David Perdue, and Democrat Raphael Warnock, Reverend Warnock, is running against GOP incumbent Kelly Loeffler. If both Democrats win, it would shift the balance of power in the Senate to an even 50-50 split. Kamala Harris would be the deciding vote. So the Senate would be Democrat. The House of Representatives would be Democrat. The executive office, the President of the United States, would be Democrat. We will know in a few hours. Trump called Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger over the weekend. You know about this when he tried to tell the Secretary of State to change the results of the Georgia election. In the recording, Trump berated Raffensperger, tried to flatter him, begged him to act, and threatened him with criminal consequences if he refused. At one point, warning Raffensperger that he was taking the risk. Let's listen.
Little information. I think you're going to find that they are shredding ballots because they have to get rid of the ballots because the ballots are unsigned. The ballots and they're brand new and they don't have seals. And there's a whole thing with the ballots, but the ballots are corrupt. And you're going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense.
Throughout the call, Raffensperger rejected Trump's claims, explaining Trump is relying on debunked conspiracy theories and that Biden's 11,779 vote victory in Georgia is fair and is accurate. Trump ignored him, saying that the people of Georgia are angry, the people of the country are angry. There's nothing wrong with saying, you've recalculated. At another point, Trump said, so look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes. This is what authoritarians do. Every authoritarian in modern recent time, or many of them, or most of them, started off as elected officials. Adolf Hitler was elected the Chancellor of Germany. We know how he turned out.
Right.
Vladimir Putin, he was elected, the head of the president of the prime minister of Russia. He hasn't never left in 20 some odd years. Erdogan in Turkey, he was elected prime minister. He's president now, authoritarian dictator. He never leaves either. And so Trump trying to follow those footsteps to get elected fairly and then never leave office. That's what authoritarians do.
Wow.
So Trump later said in that phone call So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes, fellas. I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. Let's listen.
So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
Now, you know who Carl Bernstein is? Carl Bernstein, he's not my uncle. I have no relationship to him whatsoever. He was one of the two reporters, him and Bernstein and Woodward, who broke the Watergate scandal that led to Nixon. He's the most famous Bernstein in the world right now, much more famous than me. He was the Bernstein who, I have no relationship to him. Maybe I'm related to him through 50 cousins down the line, but I don't know the man. He broke the Watergate scandal. It has said, who is the man who broke the Watergate scandal at Nixon, that what Trump did on this telephone call is more criminal than what Richard Nixon did to have him resign from office. Yet, when the world found out what Richard Nixon did with Watergate, both Republicans and Democrats said that what you did was illegal, it's undemocratic, and you can't be president anymore. Yet, here we are, nobody's calling for Trump to leave office.
What's the difference? What do you feel like is the difference? Why? Is it just a whole different set of, like, the generations actually cared more?
No, I think people are more interested in power, and they believe that Trump still holds a big sway over a large swath of voters. And as long as Trump holds big sway over a large swath of voters, and Trump raised several $100 million to give to candidates. So he has a lot of money to give to candidates. He has a big swath of voters who follow him. As Trump said, I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'll still vote for me.
I did say that.
And he has a big Twitter account. And he has a big, loud voice that he can tell, somebody goes against him. He says, that's it. We're putting somebody against you. You're going to be out of office. So politicians who want to remain in office, it's always the politicians who are retiring who always go up against Trump.
Right.
It's never the politicians who are remaining in office. Although I believe that, and I was saying this earlier to Jilly, I believe that, mark my word, within 90 days of Trump leaving office, he's going to do something on Twitter that's going to get him banned from Twitter. That is because right now the reason Twitter's not banning him is because he's the president of the United States of America. So he enjoys a much larger ability to say crap that other normal, private citizens can't say.
Yeah.
But once he is no longer president, he's a private citizen like me and you. He can't say stuff that he's saying as president of the United States. And I believe, my guess, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball. I have a magic 8-ball, but I don't have it with me at the moment. But I believe, it's my guess, we'll see what happens. And if it happens, we'll play it back. I said it here. He will be banned from Twitter in 90 days.
I can't wait for that.
I hope so. Some good immigration news in France. The government is fast-tracking almost 700 citizenship applications from foreign frontline workers who have distinguished themselves in the battle against COVID. So in France, people who are nurses and doctors and frontline workers who may be out of status in France, they're getting an amnesty. So congratulations to them there in France.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know what our nurses are getting here. I don't know. Meanwhile, according to statistics from the Johns Hopkins University, there are now over 85 million coronavirus cases worldwide. In the United States, more than 20 million people have been diagnosed with COVID. There is a new strain of COVID coming from the UK. It's called the B117. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Okay, it's now in more than 30 countries. It's in Colorado, California, Florida, and I don't want to say it, but it's also here in New York.
Oh God.
Yes. Now, there is no evidence that this is a more deadly strain. It is just more likely to infect you. And now the UK has become the first country to start giving out the Oxford AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine. It's the cheaper version. It's the version that is based on the old vaccines that you would get for the flu, for polio, where they're just basically injecting you a virus that is dead. Right. Or a skeletal virus versus the new Moderna ones and the Pfizer ones that are actually manipulating your RNA to tell your DNA to fight
the vid.
Yeah. Now, Italy, UK is going in a major lockdown. Italy has imposed new lockdowns. Germany is considering extending coronavirus restrictions. India has also approved the vaccine. By the way, one country, the United States, especially here in New York, it's a disaster. Only about 30% of the vaccinations that were supposed to be done in New York by the end of the year have been done so far. The 70% hasn't even been done. They're way behind. Other states are doing better. But you want to know one country that's doing really well? They've organized themselves very well. Israel, in less than 2 weeks, they've inoculated 10% of their population already. In 2 weeks.
Wow.
That means that if you continue that in another 18 weeks, which is 4, 8, 12, 6, another 3 months, the entire country is going to be vaccinated. That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, he threatened to give out fines of up to $100,000 and restrict further doses to hospitals that don't administer their supply of the vaccines. New York, the United States has only given out a little over 4 million vaccinations so far. Wow. Out of a population of 300 million. Jeez. All right. So I'm not exactly sure what everybody was doing in the federal government and state government and local governments while we were home quarantining when they knew this vaccine's coming out to organize themselves to get this vaccine into people. It's government for you. That is government for you. Yeah. What do you think of this whole Hilaria Baldwin? I don't even know what her name is anymore. Is it Hillary? Hilaria?
Who?
Hilaria Baldwin? Alec Baldwin's wife. You know about this? She appropriated the Spanish culture. Told everybody she was from Spain.
What?
She spoke, she's from Spain. She was born in Mallorca. She is Spanish. She even went on some TV shows and was using a Spanish accent as if she was from Spain. Didn't know how to say the word cucumber in English. And it turns out that, in fact, she is a fourth-generation American white girl born in Massachusetts.
Are you serious?
Yes. You didn't hear this?
No.
No, I wasn't familiar with this one.
Yes.
Did she not know that she would get caught?
I guess, millions of people, they were surprised to learn that Hilaria Baldwin, Alec Baldwin's wife, he's the guy who does Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live. Right. And has 5 children with Alec. She is not a Spaniard. She's an American. Wow. Born and raised in Boston. The internet and the news media have been sharing. I mean, that is, if you ever talk about cultural appropriation. Cool. The internet and news media have been sharing evidence of Hillary speaking in a Spanish accent in videos and magazine interviews in Hola. And they cite her, these magazines cite her as a native Spanish speaker. And as I said, there's even a bizarre Today Show clip where she's making gazpacho and doesn't know the English word for a cucumber. Now she claims she didn't know that Hola magazine, for which she posed for twice on the cover and wrote about her 20 different times, ever said she wasn't born in America. And she claims she got confused about the word for cucumber because she had a brain fart. I don't get it.
This is crazy.
Is that the craziest thing you've ever heard in your entire life?
Like basically who you are, like your entire.
You're just a con artist.
I mean, it reminds me of Rachel Dolezal. That's who it reminds me of. Rachel Dolezal.
She was the woman who made pretend she was a black woman when she was a white woman.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that one. I remember that story.
Yes. So, I mean, people do it. Why? I don't know.
Right.
And I'm an Alec fan. I like him. I really like him, but his wife, he's a liar.
So did I not know either?
I'm going to tell you something. It's crazy. I want you to be proud of who you are.
In 2021, who are you guys going to be in 2021? Go ahead.
I don't know. I was thinking, who should I appropriate? Maybe, what should I be? Yo, should I?
I don't know, but I love who I am. I'm not appropriating nothing. I don't.
I love who I couldn't appropriate it if I wanted to.
Right.
All right. If I want,
I'm Italian.
Maybe.
This is a trick question, boys. I wanted to see if in 2021 you guys were confident in who you are.
I am. I want you to know. I mean, I believe I have Jewish New Yorker written right across my face. But you know, I don't know. You know how confident I am. Did I ever share this with you? I don't know if I ever shared this with you. How confident I am that I am a Jewish New Yorker.
How?
Okay.
How do you know there's no doubt? There's no doubt about it. I had sent my DNA into 23andMe.
Oh yes, I remember.
And 23andMe, they, you know, you spit in the cup and they send the DNA and they send it back to me. And then and I was 99.5% Ashkenazi Jew.
Yes.
Ashkenazi Jew is European Jew. Okay, so there's a distinct DNA for Ashkenazi Jew. Mm-hmm. And I was 0.05% Eskimo. Siberian Eskimo. So I said, how the heck did I be getting 0.05% Siberian Eskimo?
Wasn't that Yakut? Is that what?
Yakut, yes. Yes, remember Yakut? Right. I was 0.05% Yakut. You remember?
I remember.
And I was saying, you know, and then I'm showing my friend, and my friend says, oh, some Eskimo must have snuck into the village 700 years ago and just up grandma. I mean, you know, how do you become, you know, 0.0? Bottom line is,
you all the way.
I am who I am. Jewish New Yorker.
Yeah,
there it is.
No faking it.
Yeah, I don't get this whole cultural appropriation. I get to appreciate a culture and love a culture. I get that.
Appreciation is fine.
I get love a culture. I get appreciate it. I love all various cultures. There's lots of different cultures I like, some more than others. Yeah. Some music I love more than others. Some food I love more than others. So I totally get loving a culture, loving a food, loving a group of people. I don't get saying I am them, though.
Right.
That's weird. That's
you can
strange.
Appreciate them.
Yeah. Appreciate, but not appropriate.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
It's appreciate, but not appropriate. It was like when I was away in the Caribbean every day, you know, I would tell the kids, let's think positive, but test negative. That was my saying all for 2 weeks.
I love that. That's
right. I said, we're thinking positive and we're testing negative.
I like that.
Oh, meanwhile, Drake is having a scented candle too now.
Oh, gosh.
Everybody's getting on the scented candle. Okay, first it was Gwyneth Paltrow's You Can Smell Her, you know what? Now you can light a candle and it smells like Drake. Revolve, the company he teamed up with, describes the scent the $80 candle emits as a smoothie, musky fragrance that is introspective as it is an interpretation of your beautiful self, yet extrovertive as how you would want others to hold your bold and brilliant self. I don't know what the hell that means.
$80 though? Sheesh.
I don't know what that means, but you light that candle, all right? It's as if Drake is hanging out in your living room.
I for some reason, so I just started getting into candles, as you can see right here. Like I'm like the candle man. This one is the bachelor pad. You know, I have pomegranate cedar wood. So I kind of started to learn about candles. I have a feeling like that candles probably smells good. I'm not paying no $80 for it, but I have.
It looks small though, yo. It looks small.
It doesn't even look. I mean, basically, Drake shows up at your house for like 3 hours, and that candle's done.
Yeah, you see, but yeah, $80.
What do you think of Drake selling an $80 candle? I mean, does he really need that $80?
No, but I mean, it's still a business venture.
I know, of course, it's a business, but $80? Come on, man, for a candle.
Beyonce got that.
I would not.
And it's not even a 3-wick.
I gotta tell you something, you know, it's not like, you know, I'm the richest man in the world, but I mean, I have a couple of bucks and I wouldn't spend $80 for that candle. I wouldn't do that.
How much would you spend for that candle? Do you like candles, first of all?
I do. but you can get nice candles for $20, $25.
Oh, you see, you better than me. I look for the ones on sale at Marshall's.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get nice smelling candles for $20 or $25. I mean, spend $80 on a candle that burns and it's done in 3 hours.
That's crazy.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I definitely think that's too steep.
All right. Meanwhile, 3 of the 5 acts nominated for the 2021 Best Children's Album Grammy Award are sharing the outrage that the contenders in their category are all white. One of them is Alistair Mook, whose nominated album, Be a Pain, is about American heroes who stood up for their principles. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Harvey Milk, Rosa Parks, the Parkland shooting, student protesters, and others. Mook said after this year, to have an all-white slate of nominees seemed really tone deaf, adding that he'd love to get a Grammy, but I don't want it like this, where the playing field's not even. So Mook, he's protesting by turning down his nomination. So are fellow nominees Dog on Fleas and the Okie Dokie Brothers. Joe Mallender, one of the Okie Dokie Brothers, said, "We thought that it was the strongest thing we could do to stand with people of color whose albums are too often left off of the Grammy nominations." The Okie Dokie Brothers, Mook and Dog on Fleas, sent a letter to the Recording Academy asking that their names be removed from the final Grammy ballots. They wrote they couldn't, in good conscience, benefit from a process that has historically overlooked women and artists of color.
Oh, then.
What do you think? I mean, if
Can you guys hear me? Am I bad?
I do now.
I wasn't sure. I
mean, I wish that it was colorblind.
Yeah.
And if it was really colorblind, the best would win. But I understand what they're saying is, how could this be completely colorblind? And for year after year after year, just people who are minorities and blacks being left off. And, when the world is not 95% white or 90% white or whatever it is, but that large percentage of performers are white, there's something wrong, I would think, right?
Yeah. Especially it's 2021.
Yeah.
The Grammys would have an all-white Grammy nomination in the rap category if they could. Like, I feel like that's just, that's how the Grammys are. And it's really unfortunate because you have so many, especially newer artists that are coming out, minority artists, that want to give up just because they feel like, and which I hate, because I hate that, you would even give them, which is the Grammys, the power to have that much control over your emotions. But
right.
They want to give up because they feel like they're not appreciated.
I don't get it in 2021, even from like a business point of view.
Yeah.
Take Spar and Bernstein, for example. Okay. We're in New York City. We're the melting pot. If you really want to be honest with yourself and you walk into a business that is all one homogenous group of people, whether it's all white, all black, all Asian, whoever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not just saying white people, it's just a homogenous group of people, especially here in New York or in big cities. They're not hiring the best. They're hiring within their group. Absolutely. Because it is impossible in this day and age. Okay. If you look at Spar and Bernstein, I mean, we can't look at it right now because, where a lot of people are home, but if you ever come to my office, we are almost have every ethnic, and I don't do it on purpose. I do it as a smart businessman.
Yeah.
And the reason I do it as a smart businessman is this. I say, I just want to hire the best.
Right.
Whoever is the best person that walks through the door gets hired. And if you really hire based on who the best person is, I don't care if me personally, I could care less. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic,
Mm-hmm.
You're the best worker.
Right. I was going to say, as long as they get the job done.
That is how I do it. Give me the best worker. And at the end of the day, you get a
rainbow.
A rainbow of people.
Yeah.
And if this was done in business, and it was done in at the Grammys, and you say, well, you know what, in this particular year, in this category, it's all white, but maybe in the year past, it was all black. In the year before that, it was all Latin or a combination. But if it's year after year after year after year after year white, problem.
But they'll give us that 1 year. They always give us that 1 year after a couple of years.
Only when people start screaming and yelling.
There you go. But then the year after that, it goes right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad.
What do you think?
Yeah.
That's why I try not to give the Grammys too much. Like I don't promote it, don't watch it really. I'll catch like clips of like different artists that I like, but I don't give them that much because I don't ever see it being fixed. For some reason.
These boards, like who selects these things? Like who, like leave it to the people. I'm not big on any of these award shows or any of these things anymore because I like what I like. The people around me like what they like, and I'm here for the people, from the people. All these different boards and things, I don't feel.
I don't even follow the awards anymore. I just always find out what happens after the fact. And
after
one,
literally.
Right. But you know what? If you're an artist and you really put your your life into your project or your album or your movie or your TV show or your Brad Show Live or whatever it is that you're doing, and you put your you just want to be respected and say, wow, you know what? I got an award. That makes you feel good as an artist.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
I feel bad for those people who are left off who deserved otherwise.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Agreed.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.